I just changed my strings and I'm going to show you how to change your strings so your guitar will sound great. Let's do it. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is obviously have a set of strings, new strings, a couple of cloths. It's nice to have some fretboard oil so that you can, when you take the strings off, you can clean up the neck while you're at it. And then a pair of wire cutters, and that should be good to go. Okay, so the first thing to do is to take off the strings. This is a string that broke that I put on. I'd never cut. But we're just gonna slowly unwind the strings one at a time like that. And continue winding. I haven't changed the strings on this guitar in a while, so I'm really looking forward to getting a new set on there. Turn, turn, turn. String winders. Now you know why string winder is nice to have. Just keep winding them down until you get to a place where you can take the string around the post and unlock it. Sometimes that's a little bit difficult to do. This little knot here is what holds that string in there, obviously. And then just take it out. Be careful when you do that, okay? Because the ends of these strings is really sharp. So. And then when you get all the strings off, we'll go to the next level. Okay, now that I've got all the strings off the guitar, they're all in here. They're in these bridge pins, which pop out. It's what holds them in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully take my wire cutters and just kind of gently massage that out. Pull it out like that. You just don't want to damage the bridge. You just want to do it really gently, kind of just slowly massage it out, and then you can take the string out. I'm going to do that with all 6 strings. Okay, sometimes what happens is if you come across this, you'll pull this out and the string will kind of get stuck in there. So what you can do is you can kind of massage it out. You can push the string down in the hole so the tension isn't there. Do you see that? I just pushed it down and it kind of automatically loosens it up and makes it a lot easier. So just kind of fiddle with it and be gentle and take your time. Don't get frustrated. It'll eventually come out. And then now we're gonna clean the fretboard. Just another thing real quick on electric guitars, the same sort of bridge setup. They're all slightly different, but they have very similar setups. Strings come down through these holes, but on this guitar, they're held in place with, there's no bridge pins. They're held in place. You feed the strings in through the bottom because it's an electric guitar, so you can feed them in from the back. So a little bit different, but pretty much the same for most electrics. Okay, so now we're on to cleaning the fretboard. I'm going to use some premium oil that I got for wood for the neck of the guitar. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put just a slight little bead running through here like that, and then I'm going to gently just kind of massage all of that finger goo and all that blood, sweat, and tears of practicing. It's going to kind of clean that up, get all that off. so the fretboard's all really nice and clean. Okay, so now that I've got it all cleaned up and ready to go, the neck's all feeling really smooth and clean. It was pretty dirty. There's a lot of goo in there. A lot of finger play in there. So it's ready to go. And so I'm going to take my strings and I'm going to start putting them back in one at a time. Start with this one first. Slowly unwind it. This is the silver set here. And sometimes this is also a little bit of, usually they just kind of pop out. I don't know. There we go. There we go. Kind of get it all like that. And then put it down in there. One at a time. Then I'm going to take these bridge pins that I put aside earlier and I'm going to stick them in there, and I'm going to kind of push down on it and then pull a string up in it and kind of just gently snug it up. We're going to snug it up a little bit more in a minute, but just get all those bridge pins in there like that. And if you notice, there's a little groove in these pins. You want that groove to be where the string comes up and out around the bridge. So on the string side is where that groove goes. Kind of find it. Stick it in there like that. I'm going to show you up close here on this next one. This bridge pin has a little groove in it. You want that groove to go on the string side in there like that. Just kind of pull that string until you can feel that ring hit the bottom of the bridge pin. Just kind of push it in hand tight and snug it up. Want to make sure those things are in there good. So when you're tightening these strings up, you see that? When you're tightening these strings up, these pins have a tendency to want to pop out as the tension gets tighter. So you just want to make sure that they're in there nice and snug. So I'm just going to go back through and push down and pull up on the strings, make sure there's a good sort of tight connection there before I start winding the strings up. And then as I wind the strings up, I'll pay attention to that because I don't want those pins popping out. I might have to push them in a little bit more as we go along. Alright, we got the strings in the bridge and the bridge pins in, and now we're going to start threading them through the posts and tightening them up. But before we do that, I'm going to put a little bit of pencil lead in the groove of the nut here, so that that little bit of graphite in those grooves keeps the string from binding up in there, and it just helps set the string in there a little nicely so that it doesn't bind up and cause tuning problems. It's a little trick. And then I'm going to show you another little trick here too. But we're going to put this first string in. You just wind it into the post like that, like this. You can straighten it out a little bit if you want. Get it in there. And then typically what you want to do is you want to pull on that, you want to pull that string up as if it was sort of sitting in there real nice. And then give yourself about 2 posts length of string for winding. Then you can make your cut. So I'm gonna cut my string right about here. Sometimes I have to bend it back and forth, snap it off like that. And that is usually about enough that you need, and then you pull it back around. And start winding it back up. I like to keep a little bit of tension on there. And then what I really want to do is I want to create a nice little bend in that string right there. And here's another trick. I'm going to take this string around here. You can do this before or after your cut. Sometimes it's easier before the cut. And then I'm going to bend it back around and tighten a knot right there, like that. I don't know if you can see that or not. So that that string is knotted in like that. A couple of things you want to make sure of is you want to make sure that the string is wrapped around the post underneath it, so it's a really nice clean wrap around the bottom there, like that. And then as you're tightening it up, I don't know if you can see that or not. See how it's really nicely, tightly wrapped, real nice and clean around the post there? And then you just get it tense. And then down here, as you're pulling that, you want to make sure that that bridge pin is really nicely, tightly in there. And just kind of play with the string a little bit. The bridge pin might pop out. You'll feel that the tension in the string is kind of loosening up. You can just, they need to be stretched. Just get it to a good place like that and go to your next string. Now I'm onto the A string. I'm gonna feed it through the post, pull it up so that it's in the notch there, like that. I'm gonna pull it back a little bit. Give yourself, you know, a little bit of space. About 2 pulse lengths, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. Just enough to get it around the post a couple of times. And then keep that tension on the string as you're turning it. And as it turns around, you'll get to a place about there where you can pull down on it. I kind of like, will put it between my fingers like that and kind of hold it like that. And then you can take your other hand and you can wrap it back around the other way underneath the string. Loop it like that, pull it tight, and then create that knot right there like that. It really helps keep that string locked in place for tuning. No ability for it to slide or move around on you when you're playing. And then just keep winding it up. Make sure as you come around that that string is underneath. Just keep winding until you get that tension in there, and then you're good. Alright, so now I've got all 6 strings on. The guitar's not in tune yet, but the tension is pretty good across the guitar, and the pins are all in tight, and I've played around, stretched the strings out a little bit. And now we're ready to tune. Bringing the tension back up on the strings. Oh, and see, that was that bridge that I was telling you about. Sometimes they pop out, so when you hear that, just push it back in. Start over again. The 5th fret is where the strings match. There you go. Just get it close. Oh, another one popped out. Pop it in there. Getting close, we're getting close. Now when you get to this spot, you want to take the string, each string, and you kind of want to grab it between your fingers, like this, and kind of gently pull on it and feel that stretching. It's going to stretch it back out of tune again, and then you just go through the whole process again. Oh, it's playing like butter. Change those strings. Change those strings. Yeah, it feels good. It's making me want to play. Oh. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them on the page and I'll get back to you. I'll be posting more tutorials and all things related to guitar episodes on this channel. My name is Jason Brock, worldsix. Subscribe and share. Thank you for your support.